Peace, y'all. It's for my friends, it's January 9th. For those of you who might be stuck on the side of the road, have somebody in the back seat like I did, Googling an answer as to why your F-150 seems to be shutting off while you're driving down the road, or highway in my case, and then suddenly coming back on. While you're coasting and the motor's off, you can hit neutral, hit the key, nothing happens, right? And then all of a sudden it starts back up again and keeps going. Sometimes you'll get all the way to the side of the road and you'll have to sit a minute or two. You turn the key, it'll start back up again, but no excuse. You have codes that read anything from cam position sensor to fuel pump relay issues and stuff like that. We just got back from a trip to Daytona from here in the Detroit area. We went down for Christmas, and I had this problem probably half a dozen times back in October of 21, going out to Grand Rapids. Had it happen right here in town around Roseville, Michigan here, just on a two-way road doing 45 miles an hour. Boom, just shut off. What my wife found, the third time it happened to us on our trip south, Christmas Eve day in 2021 there, was an issue about a fuse. Here is your fuse box. There is no fuse box in the cab of the truck anymore. This is it. It's sitting, as you can see, right in the middle where rain and whatever's going to get to it. You live here in Michigan where there's cold and snow. It's sitting right on top of the radiator. The hot water hoses are right here. You're going to get a lot of condensation. You can see we haven't even got into the salt season and everything under here is already dirty. Right, so what you get is my wife found in the video or description that she found was the fuel pump relay fuse is in position 27, which is this one right here. What happens is you can see the grunkus up in here, right? The corrosion up in here. Corrosion gets into this box. As you can see, I don't know if you can see down through here, but there's places where you can see right through this box. There's places where it doesn't necessarily have a bottom to it. Again, you get all your water coming in, heat coming up, cold weather outside. Even if you live in Florida or California or something, you get a lot of salt in the air, right? Salt water and stuff, so it's going to get corroded. What happens, why it shuts off and then comes back on, is from the corrosion to the pins down there. What I'm going to show you is the fuse. When it finally did shut off and didn't come back on, that was the fourth time. It happened in Cincinnati, happened a couple times just north of Knoxville, happened just past Knoxville is when it finally gave up the ghost. But there you go. There's the fuse that was in it. You can see that's a low profile mini fuse. Low profile meaning the pins don't stick out past like a regular mini fuse does. It's a 20 amp fuse. It burned right in half. So the arcing had been going on each time the thing shut off and then started back up again. It would arc, which would cause the break in the circuit, right, that the fuse is designed to protect from. And then when it started back up, obviously it was made connection again and took off again. So what we did on the side of the road in the dark, Christmas Eve, no help coming Christmas Eve, no help coming Christmas Day being Saturday. We're on our way to Daytona and we're going to race, hopefully, knock wood, at the track that Tuesday we'd be getting in to the speedway. So we really needed to be there on time. This fuse here, I believe it was 42, 43. Look it up in your owner's manual. I believe it was a reverse light circuit. We weren't going to be reusing reverse lights. We had our trailer on the back of the truck here, so we didn't really worry about reverse lights. We took that fuse out and put it in here after we pulled the burn fuse out, and that little leg was still stuck down in. There's nothing in this port here, but it was still stuck there. And as you can see, I'll pull this out if I can get it out of there. It's kind of cold. Yeah, I may not be able to get it with my fingers. The plastic was actually a little melted from, I mean, listen, we burned that sucker right in two, man. The thing got hot. So I had to get a magnifier out of my toolbox in the back of the truck, a flashlight. My brother was helping me. I had to get a dental pick and pick that sucker out of there. And we were praying that it wasn't so burnt that a fuse wasn't going to work again. But you can see this is a nice clean new one. We just put the other one back in the reverse light circuit and put a new fuse in, went over, and then it boom, started right up. So what happens is the fuse arcs and causes a disruption to the signal to the pump. Pump doesn't run, motor doesn't run. Pump suddenly runs, motor starts back. It's weird, it's crazy. Twice I've had to pull all the way off the road. And actually had to wait about 8 or 10 minutes while my wife was talking to the insurance company about hauling a truck and a trailer off the highway for us. And I just happened to reach up and grab the key and it started. I put my turn signal back on and headed right back out onto the highway. And that's when I told my wife and my brother, use your phones, Google this problem, find out what's going on. And I don't know who that guy is, but thank you, because you saved us an awful lot of money and time. We had a hotel that we could not get out of, that was already paid for, that we couldn't cancel or get a refund on. All the money we spent at the Speedway for the week, and all that, we'd have lost all that money and never have gotten to Florida without that help. So thank you, whoever he was, thank you. I just wanted to share this with everybody else. Position 27, fuel pump relay circuit. That's the fuse for your fuel pump relay circuit. The fuel pump module is in the back, from what I understand. You have to remove the spare tire. Sometimes that gets corroded too. Don't know if there's any issue there. We swapped out this fuse when we got to Florida. We just bought new fuses, and it's been okay. The guy that my wife quoted the repair or the problem from, whatever there was an article or a video. He said after he put in a new fuse here, 2 years later, he hadn't had any trouble. Now, I got a pretty good mechanic, and he's taking care of the truck and stuff for us. What he did was he read the codes, and then of course he replaced cam position sensors and some other modules, and man, it cost me $400-$600, man. But we were going to Florida. We wanted to make sure it was fixed. And when I got back, I told him, hey, I'm not mad, just a heads up. It was a fuse. And he said, wait a minute. Is it a yellow fuse? I said, yeah, yellow 20 amp fuse. He said, man, Robert, I should have known that. Just a year ago, they had someone bring a truck in, but it was a no start. So it must have already been burnt. And he said, so we started from a different place. He just says it just never registered. You brought your truck in running. So at least he was honest. Then he went ahead and had me on the phone, and I could hear him typing away. He looked up the Ford service bulletin for the technicians at the dealer about this, and what they want you to, what their answer to this is to, I think you probably push some pins and pull that the wire and connection out, and they have a remote, some kind of remote, like some other kind of, like something like this, right? I mean, just a remote deal where you would move the fuse over here or over there or wherever, but you move it out of this box. So that was Ford's answer. But you still get corrosion on all the rest of these fuses. So in the spring, obviously, if we have more problems, we'll do it before then, because it's cold. My fingers are freezing right now. It doesn't look real cold out here, but it's cold. In the spring, well, I'll get in here and spray some contact cleaner in there. Maybe even take an emery board or something. Just make sure all the contacts are clean. Clean up these cable ends and all this stuff on here too. And you just make sure it's all good and clean. As you can see, this box doesn't have an O-ring to seal it up or anything. Look at this. I mean, that's just coming right in, folks. And it just doesn't make any sense. On my older Ford truck, it was over here or over here. Even on the old 92, I think it was off to one side. They put it right in the middle here, man. And taking it down to have my front end alignment relook, because we had a front end alignment the last week of December as well. And it wasn't because the truck was pulling, the steering wheel was off center. And I'm kind of getting a little off course, but I'm going to get right back on. I called the folks, they're just down the road, and they said, yes, we'll fix it for free, because the steering wheel was still crooked. And I just didn't have time that last week to take it back and have them take a whole nother day with my truck. So I brought it back, and on the way down there yesterday, I stopped at a red light and the truck quit. Let's put it in neutral. I turned the key, it started right back up again. Don't know what the hell that's all about. It could be this. It could be a mass airflow sensor. We haven't checked it for codes, so need to get the codes checked and find out, I guess, what that's all about. If it's related to this or not. Doesn't look like it. That fuse looks like it's in good shape. If it's arcing at all, it should start changing color. You know what I mean? It should start looking like that's bright yellow. You can see how the other ones are not as yellow, right? Because they've been in there for a while. Now, this truck, by the way, my mechanic said this issue from the technician service bulletin said after 100,000 miles. This truck's got almost 200,000 miles on it. It's got 192, 194, something like that after we're back from Daytona. So it's a high mileage issue, but just keep that in mind. If you're freaking out on the side of the road and your wife's looking this up, man, go right for that 20 amp fuse. If the motor shuts off and won't start, I mean, you turn the key, and that's all electronic as well. You turn the key and let it go, and it'll go no, all by itself without even touching the key, because it's all electronic, it's all computerized, fly-by-wire kind of crap, right? So if it's turning over, it turns over, and then shuts off by itself, that means the fuse is burnt. It's, you know, we did get lucky after a few minutes after this thing cooled off, probably, for it to start up that last time and us to get back on the road and me to tell the wife and the bro, hey, get on your phones and figure out what's going on with this thing. So that there you go. That's all I got for you. We did use the transmission torque converter shutter, that stuff in the red tube. We used it again for a second time after a year and a half. It worked really good. We used it again. No issues going to Daytona and back. It's a viscosity issue. And from what I understand, just having a flush and fill and having new fluid put in doesn't fix the problem. If it does, it might only fix it for a month. So that's it. I still love my Ford. Not real crazy about how they do some of the things, the better idea that Ford has, but that's it. Godspeed, God bless. Happy New Year, y'all. We're praying for you out there. Hang in there. It'll get better. Move that 20 amp fuse. You get you back on the road.